to all our viewers out there. My name is Heinrich Neetling and welcome to Mathematical Literacy. In our lesson today, we'll focus on Body Mass Index, that is BMI. Now, as per usual, let me quickly share something interesting with you. Did you know that your BMI is a measurement that is a ratio of your weight and height? It is a good way to measure whether your weight is in healthy proportion to your height, right? In fact, knowing your BMI can help you and your doctor determine any health risk you may face if it's outside of the healthy range. Now, I found that quite interesting. So what are our lesson objectives? Okay, so by the end of this lesson, you should be able to, first of all, define, write and interpret BMI. You must be able to perform calculations, very important, right, using the BMI formula. Also important is that you must be able to manipulate the subject of the BMI formula and then use the BMI weight classification table successfully. Then also use growth charts successfully. All right, so those are our lesson objectives. Now let us quickly move forward by looking at what exactly we can expect. So as I've indicated, the focus of today's lesson is Body Mass Index, BMI, and we'll look firstly at some examples and explanation. All right, now let us quickly look and see what exactly is BMI. Right, so I've indicated here that Body Mass Index is a number calculated from an adult's weight and height and is expressed in units of kilogram per square meter, right? Then BMI is used for adults to determine whether the adult is of normal weight, underweight, overweight, or obese. Also important is the weight status is used by health practitioners, right, to provide appropriate advice. Also in terms of BMI, note that for children and teenagers, growth charts are used to determine their weight status. Okay, now just a bit more on this topic. So body mass index, for every person, there is a relationship, right, between the person's height and their weight, or mass for that matter, and it is called the person's body mass index, right? In short, we refer to it as BMI. Then height, we're going to use this in our lesson today, is the measurement between 2 points, right, in a straight line. Example, from the top of a person's head to the floor on which the person is standing. Then weight or mass is an indication of how heavy an object is. And then measure, right, is using an instrument to determine the size, the weight, etc. Okay, so that's the terminology, the language that's going to be important in our lesson today. Now let's work together by doing a quick practice. Okay, let's test our knowledge. So the first question here is asking us to write the abbreviation BIM or BMI in full. All right, so as we know by now, that will be your body mass index. Are we clear? A good level 1 question there. Write the abbreviation BMI in full, body mass index. Let's look now at another question. So question number 2, they are saying here choose the correct answer. The formula for calculating BMI, so now we are looking for a formula in order for us to calculate BMI. So option A is saying BMI is where we take the mass in kilogram divided by the height in meters squared. Or let's look at what the other option is saying. Option B, BMI equals your mass in grams divided by your height in centimeters squared. So I'm sure that you'll agree that the first option, this is indeed the correct formula. Okay, so please take note of it. In order for us to calculate body mass index, we use our mass in kilogram divided by our height in meters, and we square that value. All right, let's look at another question. So moving forward now, question number 3, it says true or false. Now let's see what the statement is all about. It says here that the BMI can be used to classify a person's weight status as underweight, normal, overweight, or obese based on the BMI classification table. Now, guys, that's indeed true, right? You'll see later on in the lesson, we will definitely work with the BMI classification table where we're going to look at whether a person is either underweight, normal weight, overweight, or obese. Then, one last question here. It says define the term body mass index. Now, remember the body mass index. We can say that BMI is a measure. Remember, we referred to that word, right? That uses a person's height, right, and the weight. Remember, we referred to this as the mass as well, right? Okay. To work out if, right, your weight, and I'll write it here, is healthy. Now let me quickly go through the definition again. We are saying BMI is a measure that uses height and weight, or mass for that matter, right, to work out if your weight is healthy. All right, now let us quickly look at some other important words and terminology as well. So just to go through it again, here I've indicated that BMI, body mass index, is a measure, as I've explained now with our quick practice, that uses your height and your weight or mass, right, to work out whether your weight is healthy, right? What else is important here is that the BMI can be used to classify a person's weight status, as I've indicated, as either underweight, normal weight, obese, or overweight, right? Then, guys, here is the BMI classification table. Remember, I referred to this earlier on. So, looking at the BMI classification table, so here's our BMI, and here's the classification. So, basically, if your BMI is below, less than 18.5, you will be classified as underweight. It's important for us to understand this table. So if it's equals to or more than 18.5, but less than 25, you'd be classified as normal, right? Equals to or, more than or equals to 25, but less than 30, right? You'll be classified as overweight. And then equals to and anything more than 30 is classified as obese. Guys, I hope this is making sense to all of you. We will look at this as we continue with our lesson. And then lastly, just to confirm again, the formula that we use to calculate body mass index is we take our mass in kilogram divided by our height in meters squared. All right, I know it's a mouthful. Let us quickly take a short advert break. After the break, we'll take all of this and put it into context. See you now.